absolutely acknowledge. Yeah. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you, in case you don't know, Tina Colter has been holding space for so many people over the years that I've known her. She is an equine therapist. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a health advocate. She's a business owner for 20 plus years. And quite honestly, she is seen as a leader. She's on the Canadian Field Advisory Board for LifeWave. So, Tina, can you and I have a conversation about what this company has done and meant for you and how it's shifted and who you are being on the planet? Can you and I just have a conversation? Maybe you and I spotlight. You were going to do that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to, and I'm excited to share that.
Right.
If you stop share, then we will pop up and we will see our
Okay. Okay.
faces.
All right. Great. Thank you. Learning how technology works is a fabulous thing. Okay.
Yes. All right. So
I
I've done
I
that.
can't stop share because I think you're okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're all good.
Okay. Okay. Good. Well, Tina is what should I say? She walks her talk. She's found a path, and it's given her a pathway for her to share her wisdom that goes beyond where she lives. I mean, she lives in Canada in a beautiful area, but she's having a global reach because LifeWave is a vehicle for her. So, Tina, do you want to spotlight us so we can have a conversation?
Yeah, I think we are up there. Can everybody see just two of our faces? Is that working for everybody? Yep. Renee, I got some head nods and stuff. Sometimes it looks different on each other's
Okay.
computers, but we are both here.
Okay. Awesome.
Front and center. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. Um, I think it was a month or so ago, working with part of my team, and we decided, hey, let's do these spotlight testimonials and these success stories, whatever you want to call them. Their stories are amazing. And I was trying to find somebody the other day. And that's when Renee said, "What about you?" And I went, "Me? I want to be on the other side." But there's one thing I decided to do a few years ago, and for every time something came up that maybe was a little uncomfortable and put me out of my comfort zone, I would say yes to. And I think that's the reason why my path has just been progressing to this 4 years later. So when you asked me what about you, Tina? I said, oh, okay, yes. And so here we are. So thank you so much, Renee. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
a beautiful
Mhm.
explanation of this company and the technology and really why I'm still here.
Right.
I know a lot of people have know my story. I shared it, but the reason I am here is because of my horse. The reason I'm still here is so much more than I thought. For me, I was looking for something as a body worker. I truly believe, given the right tools, our body's ability to rebuild and repair, but there's so many things in this world that are against us with pollution, injury, illness, you name it, toxicity, all of that. So when you come across something that is able to optimize that, our body's ability to do what it's here to do, but just better, you can't help but share it. I just didn't know it would look like this. And when
So, Tina, you're
I
kind of
saw it,
cut.
I froze, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
There. So you cut out a little bit. I don't know if it was just for me, but it might have been for everybody.
It was
Um,
me. It was me who lives in the country and rural.
but this idea of how LifeWave came to you and how you saw it, because you're a mom, you're a busy mom, you have an equine therapy business. But something, your son was struggling, with excruciating, debilitating discomfort. You heard about these patches, you started sharing them in different ways. And specifically with your horse, Faith, who was your teacher. And I just want you to know I really appreciate horses. You are a horse whisperer. What I mean is that horses have a language and they communicate with certain people that can understand them. And Faith was saying something to you, and you were able to hear and transform and understand how to help Faith. So tell us a little bit more about that story, because I don't think everybody knows it. And then how does that relate to other aspects of your life?
I was thinking about that today actually, because well, the reality is the reason I'm still working with horses is because I was given the opportunity to put my ego aside and actually truly start to listen to horses because they know a heck of a lot more than I can ever. And what they've allowed me to do is tap into my intuition. So I have to show up regulated and grounded because if I bring in any baggage, a horse is going to tell you.
Hmm.
So that's the beautiful gift that I've been given working with horses. And so when I was looking for something, I really truly thought there's got to be something out there. I'm not giving up on this horse. There's got to be something out there. So when this was brought to me, my brain, which a lot of us listen to, my brain was like, huh, no, 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 no. I was never going to promote products again. I was never going to do this. I was never going to do that. But my heart and my gut said, stop it. You have to look at this. You don't get to decide what you're looking for. It gets offered to you when you put the energy out there going, there's got to be something. And this showed up. So I intuitively said yes, even though I may have was a little resistant. And when they showed up and I walked out to put this on my horse, and the beautiful thing was I had community right away to tell me where to put it, what to do, this and that. And that's what I love about our team and our community here. So then I placed it on my horse. I still thought, you have got to be kidding me. But I couldn't say no because I always trust my guide, and my gut was saying, pay attention, Tina, stop thinking about this, just do it. And I
Hmm.
did. And that's when the magic always happens in my life, is when I trust that feeling. And so I did. And when I saw what it did, I didn't have to understand it right away. That comes with time. That's reality. What
Right.
solidified it very quickly for me was the experience I witnessed, the experience I saw when my horse's leg that was swollen so big and was like that for 30 days, in 2 days went back to normal size. I couldn't deny something was going on. And I still didn't understand how it worked. And that was okay because I saw a, the benefit of it. So then, of course, as a human, I'm like, well, let me try it on other people's horses. And every single time I placed this on my clients' horses, I was lowering their pain response in under a minute. And I still didn't know what was going on, but it didn't matter because I was seeing a benefit. I was seeing horses relax. I was seeing things that I could go into a bodywork session and do a bodywork session in one session that used to take me 3 sessions. So I was seeing this progression, and then I started to go, And the reason I looked at it's like David Schmidt was very clever, and he did 2 clinical studies on horses, two different studies with horses in 2004 or 5 and 2011. And so I always share this is there was a placebo group, if you can believe it, in horses. And I ask people, do you know how many horses were affected in the placebo group? Zero. And that's really what I love. And I thought, wow, I have a capability to empower my clients to make their animals feel better before I even get there. Because there's times I've been on phone calls and they're like, can you come out? And I can't. And they're almost in tears, if not in tears. And I feel helpless. And I thought, I can be there for them, but not be there. And I got excited. And then I also put my business hat on and I thought, I've never heard of this before. This is pretty exciting.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
so that's how it started.
Right. But that your horse, Faith, in other words, and what you thought was going to happen with Faith and how the patches happened for her. Because in so many ways, some people will say, I'm not sure these patches are going to work. I'm going to wait until I get my own personal testimonial. But you were guided, your intuition said, what is Faith teaching me? And then that led to other aspects of what else can I learn without me being the intermediary to really understand what's going on, right? You got out of your ego to actually allow information to come through. And so, could you say a little bit more about that? Because some people are, they're in their head trying to make sense of it without really understanding under the full understanding of what's possible beyond the mind.
Well, I like that you say that. For me, what's really like when I started to see the potential of it, I started to get on some calls. I started hearing people's experiences. And whether I liked it or not, I started writing a list of people that I thought maybe need to know about this with things that I have not experienced, whether it was somebody struggling with heart stuff or somebody struggling with knee stuff. I didn't have any issues. I was fine. I was a little achy when I went to bed, and I thought hitting my snooze button was okay. But I was fine. I loved
Uh-huh.
the idea of them, and I started putting them on my body. And I can share my testimonials after that. But I saw how this could be a potential to help somebody, and I still hear it every day, like I do. People say, I want to see how it works on me. And I always think of this story that I heard before going, I haven't yet found a cardiac surgeon who became a cardiac surgeon after they had a heart attack, before they shared it, did it with somebody else. But sometimes with this technology, or a lot of the times, people want to know, and it's not really about what it does, because guys, I know you're here, this and that. This company's been around for 20 years. You can't fool people for 20 years. There's got to be something here. That's,
Right.
and the research and development, the clinical studies, you look at other companies, and I'm not comparing, I mean, there's good stuff out there, but to have over 80 clinical studies and top of the line double blind, like there's something here, over 100 and whatever. For me, it's like, if somebody, so I actually leaned on a lot of people's stories before Faith had her story.
Hmm.
I
Right.
leaned on a lot of people's stories to say, I don't know, come and check this out. And I'm grateful I did, because my story wasn't fabulous for myself personally, but I'll tell you, I have cried with many people, and they've thanked me and said, thanks for sharing this with me.
Right.
I was
Right.
attached. Yeah.
Right. Well, you've earned your angel wings, I think, with the number of people that you've helped as a result. And you said eventually you saw a difference with your family, with your son, with yourself. Could you share a little bit more about that? Because it's kind of like a lot of people start off being skeptical, like, what can this little patch do, for goodness sakes? What's the power of light? Even though light is guiding photosynthesis in plants as part of nature's world, we're sort of disconnected from it. So now we're reacclimating to, the power of light. And then our own awareness starts to kick in. So for you, when you started to see it for you, because you're so guided to help others, but then you started to notice for you and your son and your family. Could you share some of those testimonials?
Well, I was unaware. I was just going. My life used to be go, go, go until I get hit with a 2x4, meaning that I just get so tired and I crash. And then I have my release. My husband calls it a meltdown. I start crying and he goes, you should probably go have a nap. So, and I go, you're probably right. I'm gonna go have a nap. And then I get up and I do it over again. Well, with this, what I wasn't realizing was I stopped hitting my snooze button. My body didn't ache at the end of the day. I started to, things that, by 4:30 I was done. Whatever was on my list is gonna go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm just done. And that stopped happening. There's this coolness and this cool energy that happens that is so subtle. And I think this technology would get lost on a shelf. If it was somewhere, people would go, not really noticing anything. Because I've talked with people over and over again. When our body stops yelling at us, we kind of pay it no mind and we carry on with life. And that's what I notice with this technology is it's very subtle, but it's very powerful. Now we're getting people out of severe agony in a matter of minutes, lowering and softening, and it gets better over time. So my new normal, this one I didn't like. I caught myself vacuuming one evening at 7 p.m. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I stopped that right away. I was like, no, that's it. But that being said, there were some things I noticed, some things, but the reason I noticed was I kept checking in and seeing how other people were doing and hearing their stories and then going, hey, now that they say that, I'm starting to experience that.
Right,
I'm
right.
starting to experience that. And so that was happening. But you touch on my son. where when they had to go to school, they didn't have lockers. He had to wear his backpack every day and he had to wear a mask every day. And that puts a lot of toll on your shoulders. And he would come home in agony. His eyes were just glossy, and you knew he struggled all day because his head was just pounding. And to put ice wave on his temples and an eon on his forehead, and in under 2 minutes, he was functioning again and nothing had to go in his body. As a mom, that's priceless.
Right. Absolutely. Well, what's beautiful, I think my final question for you, Tina, is there's so much more you could share, but because of your heart of service and because you are able to be that horse whisperer and also see and intuit what people need, you've been asked to be on the Canadian Field Advisory Board for the company, and your leadership is pretty significant. I think this is kind of related to enlarging your vision because as an equine therapist, you can only help the people in your geographic area, right? But now with LifeWave, you're able to go global and you're being known and being able to share your understanding that goes beyond geographic restrictions. So I want to acknowledge you for your leadership and also for your capacity to share your wisdom worldwide. So how does that feel for you, being a mom and living on your land and being with your horses, but having a global reach?
Yeah, I talked about saying yes. And then there's sometimes when you say yes and you don't even realize what is about to unfold for you. Could I picture what it would look like today, 4 years ago? No, all I wanted to do was help my clients belly to belly, face to face. I saw the potential. I loved the idea of being one of the messengers to share this technology, and I saw this as an opportunity. I just didn't realize that I was going to be impacting people that I've never met in person. I've been able to help animals further than my belly to belly reach. I knew it was a global company, but I didn't realize what that really, really meant for me. And so working with people, Ireland, Australia, where places I've never been, and being the technology that we have, and to be able to do like a FaceTime or something where they're in their pasture and we're helping this horse feel better. I mean, I just got back from Dallas, Texas, and that was so interesting. The people that I'm meeting, right? I mean, we're 20 years in, but I've met David, and he's got inventions and technology coming down. This isn't just a patch company. This is a technology company that's impacting a lot of people. And the Canadian Field Advisory Board, are you kidding? When they called me for that, and I do want to share a little bit of a glimpse of the integrity of this company. Um, but when they called and asked me to be on it, I just said yes, got off the phone and felt like I was about to throw up. That's the reality of it. know?
Yeah,
I was like, are you kidding me? But what a gift to have a voice for people. So I don't take
right.
it lightly. I want to have a voice for us. And I also want to impact, because a couple years ago, we all got back from convention. We were so excited and all this stuff, and we're ready to roll. And then all of a sudden, Health Canada said, hey, we want some more information about this technology. We need some more paperwork. So they pulled all but two of our patches. IceWave and Alavita, which are beautiful technology, but it really takes the wind out of people's sail when that happens. It wasn't that the technology was banned or anything, they just needed more information, clinical
Right.
evidence, clinical studies.
Smart.
Cool thing was is David already had that. So, it wasn't something that he had to go and find. He just had to get it organized. But I've never seen a company in direct sales or heard of, and if there is, let me know. But Garrett in corporate, he let me know, shared that they went to David and it only took him 10 seconds to say yes when they asked, hey, what can we do for Canadian brand partners as we try and get these patches back into Canada? And so they decided to look at the best month that we had in October. Anybody who made $200 or more a month, they were going to pay us our best month until they got the patches back. And that took them 10 months. And every single week we got paid, whether we were able to make that money or not.
Right, right,
What is
exactly.
that, right? I've not heard that in this industry. So the integrity of all of that, I'm very, very grateful. I followed my intuition and it just keeps getting better and better.
Absolutely. Well, the integrity, the world is shifting and changing, and technology is expanding, and it's great to be with a company that has the core values of service and humanity. It's not technology by itself. It's like humans with technology. And thank you, Tina, for being an amazing leader. And I want to acknowledge Angeline Toth, because if it wasn't for Angeline Toth, who shared this with you, and it was me sharing with Angeline Toth. So you never know. I just want you to know, the people listening to this, it's like when you think of people that could benefit from this and you share it, and what they do with it is life transforming, not only for their lives, but their whole future, their future timeline. It's like living your legacy. And Angeline, thank you so much for being my good partner and friend and introducing me to Tina. I know there's more we can bring in a future time related to that story. I just say, Tina, is there anything that you'd like to share as your last comment before we close tonight?
Well, I do love that, my horse is absolutely sound and rideable again. And that took,
Yay.
out of a few years, it took 8 months. And that's something that I'm able to help other people. Um,
So could you say that again? You're kind of cutting out.
I know it's not a good night for my internet, but my horse's recovery shouldn't have been so quick or so she shouldn't have ever been rideable again, and she was 8 months later. So the progression and the optimization of how these patches work and really wake our body up is phenomenal. And I guess what I would say to somebody is um, get your experience, be skeptical, absolutely be skeptical. Skeptical, I asked questions because I was skeptical. I didn't make up my mind until I really looked at everything. But really, the thing that really opened my eyes to what this was the experience that I started to see with the technology. Not the words I read, not anything like that. I tried
Mm,
it out and I couldn't deny
right.
the benefits. So I
Right.
say, give it a go. You don't have
Yeah.
anything to lose. That's the best way
That's
you're going to know if this is for you or not.
super. Thank you. How about, Tina, we stop the recording and then we open it up for some Q&A. I think there's some
Absolutely.
Q&A that's in there. You're in charge of the recording, so could you
Yeah,
stop
I'll
it?
do that.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you, Renee.
Awesome. Thank you.